Good morning. Welcome back to Harvest Moon Farm. My name is Mickey. So we've got a couple of items we're going to have for dinner tonight. One of them is a broccoli salad that I'm going to make as soon as I put some of this stuff away so that it can absorb the flavors of the dressing and the flavors can really mix together. And then we'll make the main dish, which is chicken. We'll make that closer to dinner time, and then we'll have everything together. Welcome back. As I said, my name is Mickey. I went to the store this morning to get some items for our dinner that we're having tonight. I got a few other things. I got a few other items that I needed as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get some of this stuff out and put away. So I was at Walmart and it started pouring while I was in the store. I have 3 umbrellas in my car, which is where they were when I went inside the store. Naturally, I did not think to take any of them in with me. And while I was in Walmart, lightning flashed and the lights went out and people screamed. It was crazy. So let's see. I generally go through the self-check when I go to Walmart because I typically don't buy very much at one time because it's just me, like I said. But I had quite a few things today. I had the items that I bought for today's meals. I bought some extra fruits and vegetables. I bought some flour, just some miscellaneous stuff. I bought a few gifts for my friend's little boy because he's adorable and I love to buy things for him. So I have a million fabric shopping bags, like probably all of us do, and all of mine are currently filled with random stuff in my storage unit from when I moved out of my house. So I bought 5 shopping bags, 87 cents a piece or whatever they were, handed them to the cashier. She rang them up, set them down, and put everything in plastic, which was not my intention, but that's okay. All right, so we're gonna be making chicken with our dinner, so I'm just gonna put this in the fridge for now, and we'll deal with the rest of this when we make dinner tonight. What I'm gonna put together this morning is a broccoli salad. This recipe is from Carolyn at Homesteading Family. It has broccoli, of course, carrots, blueberries, spinach, some nuts, so it looks delicious. So I'm going to go ahead and mix that up, get it ready so we can get it in the refrigerator, and as I said earlier, let all those flavors kind of meld together, and it will be ready to go when we make our dinner tonight. So I'm just going to move everything over here out of the way until we need it, and I'm going to get me a nice big bowl to mix this up in. We're going to mix everything up in this giant bowl. This bowl will not fit in my refrigerator when it's got other things in it, but I'm going to use this to mix it all up, and then I'll transfer it to something smaller and cover it up and put it in the refrigerator. There's crumbs in there. Okay, so if you know anything about Homesteading Family, Carolyn and Josh Thomas, they have, 10 children? 9? I don't know. They have a lot of children, so their family is really big. So this original recipe makes a huge salad. It's just me living here by myself, and so I'm gonna make enough for dinner tonight and some for leftovers, so I'm gonna cut this recipe way down. But I will, of course, include it in the description box so you can see the full size recipe that she uses. Okay, we're gonna start with our broccoli. Now, when she makes it, she uses 9 cups of broccoli. Obviously, that would be way too much for just me. I'm going to go ahead and cut up this head and see what that gives me, and then we'll go from there. And I sure do miss having a compost bin. I hate throwing things like this in the trash. But until I've gotten to a point where I'm going to be able to move into a house again, this is what I've got to do. So I just bought just some heads of fresh broccoli. You could, obviously if you have your own broccoli, that's awesome. You could also buy frozen broccoli that's already chopped. That would save you some time. And if it's, winter time and you can't find good fresh broccoli, then that would be a good option. So while I was running through the parking lot I wasn't running because I had on flip-flops, and anybody who wears flip-flops, you know how dangerous it is to try to run in wet flip-flops. You will fall and break your leg. So I couldn't even really move that fast through the rain, but that's okay. I didn't melt, even though I tell my grandkids that I will. They don't believe me, and honestly, I'm not going to measure this broccoli that I'm putting in here. This looks like it's probably going to be about 2.5 or 3 cups. And then I'm just going to wrap the rest of this back up, and we're going to put it in the refrigerator, and I will use it for something else. And the recipe actually says you could use some other sort of cruciferous vegetable if you'd like. You could use cauliflower, broccolini, you could even use kale if you wanted. I'm just using broccoli. I would use cauliflower. In fact, I would add cauliflower to it if it wasn't so expensive. And okay, so the recipe calls for 2 cups of fresh blueberries, and I'm going to, first I gotta figure out how to open this bag. So I'm going to use about 3/4 of a cup, I think. So the little strip that you have on here is the wrong way on the bag, which is why I was struggling, I think. So I'm going to hopefully find a place in the freezer for these. I really need to get my boys to help me get my deep freeze up here so that I can have more space. Okay, next thing, we're going to use some matchstick carrots. This calls for a cup, and so I'm going to use just a 1/4 cup if I can get the bag open. There we go. Close enough. Oh, this looks really pretty. Oh, I forgot the green onions. Darn it. I almost bought some too. Oh well. It does call for green onions. I don't have any. And then I think this says a 1/2 cup of cashew pieces and a 1/4 cup of sunflower seeds. So I don't know what I bought the spinach for. Oh, the spinach is for the chicken tonight, I think. So I'm gonna just do, let's see. I'm just gonna do a little handful. It's probably a little less than a 1/4 cup. And since there are some halves in this container that I bought, I'm just going to go ahead and chop it up a little bit finer. And then 1/4 cup of sunflower seeds for the full recipes. So I'm just going to pour a little bit in my hand and put it in there and call it good. Okay. Oh my gosh, the blueberries. I don't know if you guys can see that. Stained my fingers purple, just that little tiny touch. We're going to use olive oil, lemon juice, poppy seeds, which I did not buy, Dijon mustard, honey, and molasses, apple cider vinegar, and salt. So we're gonna have to kind of play around with this. Maybe I'll make the full amount of dressing and then just have it. So you can use olive oil or you can use avocado oil. I'm gonna use some avocado oil, and we're gonna do 3/4 of a cup, and my smaller measuring cup is in the dishwasher. I had multiples of everything, but some of them went home with my ex-husband. And this probably has measurements on here. Oh, it does. Alrighty, we're gonna add 1/4 cup of lemon juice. You could use fresh lemon juice. You could probably use, it doesn't say specifically what to use. Oh, scratch that. She says freshly squeezed lemon juice is the best, but you can use a good quality bottled lemon juice if that's what you have, which I have an organic lemon juice that I bought from Azure Standard. All right, so 1/4 cup. Oh my. There we go. Okay, I was trying to figure out if I had something that I could substitute for the poppy seeds, and I don't know that I have anything. Okay, 1 tablespoon of mustard. I'm gonna eyeball this because that's just what I do. Maybe I can get it to come out. Oh my goodness. There we go. There we go. A tablespoon of honey and a tablespoon of molasses. There was the molasses, and I have to think where my honey is. Okay, I have some raw honey, which is what she suggests, but I don't know where it is. So this honey is solidified. I'm gonna put it in a pan of hot water and just let it kind of decrystallize a little bit until I can just get enough for our dressing. So if you did not know this, honey that's crystallized is still perfectly fine, perfectly safe. All you need to do is just warm it up so that it will kind of melt back down again, and then it can be used. This jar that I've got it in has metal on it, so I can't put it in the microwave, which you probably wouldn't want to anyway. So that shouldn't take long. So I bought a new dining table and chairs that's more apartment size. Since it's just me, I had the table that my ex-husband and I had gotten. I don't know, we've been married about 3 years when we moved into our first house. And we bought a nice table and chairs, but it took up so much space in the little dining room of this apartment that it was almost unusable, partly because I have stuff that I don't have space for, so it was stacked around the chairs. Anyway, so I bought this smaller one. The delivery person brought it, and I was so excited, and I opened my door and it wasn't there. I live on the 2nd level. You come up a flight of stairs, there's a landing, and then up another flight of stairs to my door. He had left it, I'm assuming, the delivery person had left it on the landing, which meant there was another flight of stairs to go drag the box up. And it weighed like, I don't remember, I think it said 87 pounds or something like that. Obviously, I'm not lifting a box that weighs 87 pounds. So I had to open the box and bring things up piece by piece, but I got it, I put it all together, it fits really nice. Now I just need to wait until I get my boys over here or one of my friends with a truck that can help me take the table and chairs for my original set back to my storage unit. Okay, so while we're waiting for the honey, let's go ahead and add our salt and our vinegar. What did she say? 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay, found my apple cider vinegar. Also found my honey, it was in my storage unit. Okay, we need a teaspoon of the vinegar. So we're still waiting on the honey. So I'm gonna go ahead and transfer all the salad ingredients into this other bowl that I'm gonna use to store it. Oh my goodness, it looks so pretty. I'll show you guys here in just a second. So if you guys can see that, the blueberries and the carrots give it such a nice pop of color, and everything in there is so healthy. It's going to be such a delicious salad. Okay, finally got some honey. You want about a tablespoon. And then we're going to just put the lid on our salad shaker. And we're just going to mix our dressing up really well. We've got our molasses down here in the bottom, so we want to make sure that we get that all mixed in. Okay, it's mostly mixed. I think this is kind of just stuck on the sides. So I'm just going to pour some over our broccoli salad here. Oops. Ooh, that's yummy. And then I'm going to go ahead and toss the broccoli and other ingredients so that it gets coated with our dressing. See if we need any more. Actually, I think that looks pretty good. Go ahead and go ahead and shake this a little more, and then I will put it in the refrigerator, and I can use it on additional salad or any kind of salad. And I can add to this at dinner time if I think it needs a little more. So I just got a bowl cover I'm just going to stick over this. Well, let me just show you first. So there is how it looks. I can't wait to try it tonight. So we're going to put this in the refrigerator, and I will be back later this evening closer to dinner time, and we're going to start our chicken dish that we're going to have our broccoli salad with. Okay, welcome back. It's time to start our dinner. So we are making crispy Parmesan chicken with a rich garlic sauce. So the recipe calls for either 3 to 4 small pieces of chicken or 2 large pieces that we are going to have. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the fat off of this. And then we'll cut these pieces in half. So we're going to have 4 servings. So I will have some for dinner tomorrow night or lunch tomorrow or whatever throughout this week. Today is Sunday and I work in the office on Mondays, so that'll be perfect. I'll have something for lunch tomorrow that'll be easy to just heat up in the office. Okay, so the recipe doesn't call for you to do this, but I am going to. I'm going to cover these pieces with some plastic and I'm going to pound them flat. Oops. We'll just layer uncooperative plastic wrap over this chicken, and then I have to figure out where my meat tenderizer is. It's like playing a guessing game every time I make something new. First try. All right, so all I'm going to do is just pound this chicken so that it's a little bit flatter, and it is approximately the same, all the pieces are approximately the same thickness. That'll just make it cook easier and more evenly for the time. There we go. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna season both sides of our chicken breasts with salt, pepper, and some just salt and pepper to start with. And we do want to season both sides. So go ahead and flip these over. Salt the other side. Now we're going to put about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in our skillet and go ahead and let that heat up. So I'm going to put this on high to let it start heating up. All right, I'm just going to put our chicken breasts in here. And we're going to let these cook about 5 to 7 minutes per side until they are nice and crispy. While our chicken's cooking, I've got some garlic cloves here. I'm going to go ahead and just mince all of these. I've got 4. Oops. So there's our garlic. Once our chicken is all cooked, we're going to go ahead and add the garlic to our pan. While the chicken finishes cooking, I've got a cup of spinach leaves here. I'm just going to go ahead and chop those up. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and take our chicken out of the skillet. I'm going to turn this down. We're going to add our minced garlic to the pan. You just want to stir that around for 20 or 30 seconds until it starts to, you start to really smell that garlic smell. Then, you don't want to let it burn. Then we're going to add a cup of cream. Now, you can use light cream or heavy cream. I have heavy cream. I'm going to stir that around just a little bit. We're going to add a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. You could also just add oregano if you don't have Italian seasoning. We're going to add about a half a cup or so of shredded or grated Parmesan cheese. I'm going to use whatever I've got here. This is more than half a cup, but I'm going to use it. Turn this down some more. We're going to stir this until our cheese is all melted. 2 to 3 minutes. You do want to keep stirring so it doesn't clump or stick to the bottom of your skillet. Once that is all nice and smooth, we're going to add a cup of chopped spinach, which this is optional, but obviously, yes, I did go ahead and add it. You just want to stir that in. Then we're going to put our chicken back in our skillet with the sauce. We're going to spoon some sauce over all of the chicken. And then we're gonna let that simmer for 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, so I got a piece of the chicken. I spooned some sauce over it. I've got my salad out. I think I'm gonna add a little more dressing. It looks a little dry, which means it's probably soaked up the dressing while it was in the refrigerator, which is what we wanted it to do. I'm just gonna add a little more. Toss that around a little bit, and then I will give myself a serving. So here's our dinner. So I'm gonna try some of this. Oh, that is really, really good. The blueberry with the broccoli seems like an odd combination, but it actually tastes really good. Let's get a little bite of our chicken. That sauce is really, really good. Okay. So that's going to do it for today's video. I want to thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you are not currently a subscriber, I would encourage you to subscribe. I'm trying to put out videos every Friday, 8 o'clock Central Time, and you can catch my new video that way, and then you'll always be notified. So I'm going to go eat my dinner, and I hope that you guys have a fantastic week. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.